All right, we're talking Westworld, episode 5. Yeah, episode 5. I'm bad at episodes. We're halfway done. We're over halfway done. Pretty big episode.
I wanted a quick shout out to Marty. Marty had a tweet the other day that wasn't well received, or people were like, "You're an idiot." But he said, I forget the exact numbers he used, but he's like, "When you're on episode 7, there's 3 episodes left, but you actually have 4 episodes left." And I always think that. I always think like that. I'm like, I'm on episode 6. How do I have 5 episodes left? This is crazy.
That is true. Yeah, it is very true, which we do have.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we don't have many left of this show, I'll tell you that much. Only 3 left. They teased it at the end. I can't believe it's almost over. But this was a big episode. A lot of big shit went down and set up. I guess we were wondering what the next step is going to be in the story. We now know what the story is going to at least involve, and that seems to be chaos. World chaos. Whether it's world chaos and chaos in other realms or realities, simulations, we'll find out. But quickly, before we do the breakdown, thumbs up, thumbs down, what do we think?
I give it a thumbs up. This was the most focused I was on any episode because, to steal a line from, I'm sure, a doll up there, we're in the end game now. And you could tell, like, we're starting to get answers rather than more questions. But I did have a fair amount of problems with the episode. So, good episode, very entertaining, very interested, but also a lot of, I don't know if I've done that.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up as well. I think this is like probably the most action-packed episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this, genre, big thumbs down for me. Big thumbs down to the drug genre. Boo!
I mean, maybe it's because he didn't know he was taking it, but that just seems miserable.
Well, what's the point of taking genre? Nothing about that seemed pleasurable whatsoever. You just have like fucking Richard Wagner playing in your ear the entire time. Like, boo to that drug.
Yeah, stab yourself in the neck, too.
Yeah, right? Everything is fucking a needle? Like
That's
you
just
figure they
not
would have
fun.
thought, like, make it a Listerine strip or something. Jesus Christ, future.
Let's talk about the episode. We're going to do it differently this time. We usually do character by character, but we're going to do 2 separate breakdowns. We're going to do Serac's life story leading up to the present day, and then we'll do a present day breakdown of events because it jumps around too much to try to go character by character. So here's the deal with Serac. We learned all about Serac finally. He was with his brother, who turns out to not be Ford. Okay, so there were some rumors like, oh, maybe it's Ford. You never know. It's not. It's a completely different guy. Super, like, European skinny guy. Not Ford.
I thought it was for a while. Let's see, when there's, like, the over-talking, when they're, like, kind of running back to Paris. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, fucking, they nailed it. Like, this is definitely going to be Ford.
When they showed the close-up of the kid, I was like, that's him. That's him.
Close-up, and they're like, yeah, and he's a genius. He's so smart. Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's Ford. We fucking nailed this one. Damn.
And then they kind of almost dunked on us. They're like, you fucking idiots. He's not old enough to be Ford. What are you talking about? Stupid theory. So it's his brother. So during the Paris nuclear disaster, they basically wanted to make a new god out of this. Because what they saw with their world, I believe Serac's brother tells them like there was like that God didn't exist. Like the God you think that just destroyed our world, that God didn't exist. And they want to make a new one. They said we needed a God to save us, to create order out of chaos, which that kind of rhymes, which sucks reading that back now. I sound really corny. But they said God had abandoned them. So their goal was to make a God, and that is what Rehoboam ends up being. We also see, if we didn't know it already, which we mostly did, the circles that we see, those divergence circles, that's like Rehoboam's thing. That's how Serac tracks if there are divergences, if there is unrest in the world. It's an eclipse, basically. And when it gets off center, you know there's some shit going down. He says that some people. So this is still a flashback, but it does flash forward a little bit. You see a meeting with, I believe, like the Brazilian president. He's talking about how, like, there is going to be a problem. They don't know it's a problem yet. Rehoboam knows they're a problem. They won't know they are a problem, or they're going to commit these things until they actually do. And it's funny because he's threatening him in a way that's like crime lord threatening, but he's threatening him for doing bad things. He's like, you are doing bad shit. Stop doing the bad shit. Do the good shit, or I will do bad shit to you. That's basically, it's like really roundabout, but it's that funny like tug of like, yeah, like Serac's definitely not a good guy, but his motives are, he's fucking Thanos. I mean, he's Thanos. Yeah. It's like he wants good things to happen, but he has to be a bad guy in order for it to happen. He talks about flies in the systems, things that are disrupting. Serac and his brother, they partner with Liam Dempsey's father We see young. By the way, if you don't like John Gallagher Jr., is that his name? If you don't like him, tough episode because it's like this is his that's his type of character. This
what he was always going to be. It's like there was no surprises with him. That's what he was going to be.
He's got wines the entire episode.
Yeah. Serac and his brother, they partner with Liam's father, who we know is dead in the present day. It was teased early on that Serac responsible for his death. So we kind of figured what we get here was going to happen.
I have a question. When he kind of first comes on screen, or at least early, I'm not sure it's first, but they're showing him Rehoboam, not for the first time. It's actually, I think it's the first time where he's pissed about it. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. He calls it Solomon, doesn't he?
Yeah, so that was the first build. Like basically, it's almost like in the Matrix when they had like the first few builds that didn't work or whatever. Like that Solomon was the build they had before Rehoboam, which didn't work as accurately as Rehoboam worked.
Yeah, so
right, but then I remembered, as Jeff told us before,
Solomon
was the guy who was good, and then Rehoboam is the son who kind of destroyed it all. Right?
It's very biblical. It's very based in biblical things. Rehoboam took over, so it lines up exactly with like what had people, not us, because I don't know Bible stuff. I read other people's shit. Again, I'm just that's Bible references over my head every time. We read that and we talked about it the first time we did this breakdown. Rehoboam has a very biblical tie in terms of name, and they bring up Solomon, which is part of that story as well.
But we never knew it was called Solomon.
I don't,
not the first ones.
I don't believe so, but I may be wrong. I don't believe so, though. I think the first system we may have known was called Solomon. Kind of irrelevant at this point, but we'll have to go back and look at that. So Dempsey does have an issue with it. He's like, this shit doesn't work. Like, what is a big fucking ball? You're taking up space in my building here. And he's causing problems, and Serac's brother is like, should we kill this guy? This guy sucks. He's in our way. And they basically say it is working. They just haven't had a chance to – they don't have the right way to show him yet. He doesn't believe it.
It was a great line. It was a great line. I'm not dumping any more money into this big steel ball sack.
Yeah.
Serac and his brother end up stealing Dempsey's money, and they're able to invest in the stock market based on future projections that Rehoboam shows them. They turn like $5 million into like $150 million, I believe.
I think it was just 100.
100. So, but Dempsey Sr. loves it. He's like, this is great now. This tech works. I'm rich. I'm even more rich. But they do hit a snag in the system. They realize that there are people who always fuck it up. Like no matter how much they can predict, no matter how much they can control, there will be people who will disrupt the system and they will go into unrest. And so eventually we kind of find out years later, because Serac's kind of young at this point, and his brother kind of goes crazy. They mentioned the radiation. We saw him bleeding at one point in the beginning when the nuclear disaster happened. So he was very much affected, his brother, by the nuclear attack and the radiation. He mentions like, I saw that you can edit people because my brother got the radiation pills and it did change him. And he's in this re-education center as he tells Dempsey about this. And it's basically this center with these isolated rooms, and they're just people who could fuck the system up. And they're re-educating them. They're reworking them. And essentially Serac says like, we'll just send them to war, right? Like we'll have them go to war, spit them back out. We'll spit them into war because this is all we really can do with them. To fix
I think he said the opposite about his brother. He's like, yeah, you can change people, but the one like my brother didn't change. He was always like this. I think that's a line he said when he was referring.
Right, okay,
to his brother.
Yeah. So I mean, he's basically changing folks, and it kind of is a bit of a hint to Caleb too, because they mention war. They mention going off to war. We know Caleb. There's something with his background, so that kind of gets teased a bit. So Dempsey doesn't love this. He's like, you got to shut this down. You can't gild humanity. This is like crazy. You can't just change outcomes. And then they're out of the car in the desert, and there's an explosion. They're walking up to the explosion. It's a crash plane. So you kind of get the sense that, all right, this is where shit goes down for Serac. Dempsey's donezo. And Serac says that someone in the group will destroy the world. Have to figure that's Dolores, right? Like that's probably who he's teasing. Like someone in this group will destroy the world, and we have to change things. This is pretty close to present day. It's not that far off from where we are right now. Serac looks exactly like he does now. Dempsey says he's seen the files. He's seen the simulations. He's like, I know you let me leave. I know your brother wanted to kill me. You let me leave. And then Serac says, well, actually, the system does allow for some randomness. There's white spots where we can make a choice, and it won't really impact that. And then he fucking smashed his face against part of the plane and kills him.
Which is kind of strange, because
right?
Whether if a white spot would you think be killing someone who doesn't really matter, killing a billionaire who's in control of the thing that predicts the world, that wouldn't be a white spot.
Yeah. I also just didn't understand like the whole why crash the plane, then drag his body there. Like, what? Just fucking shoot him out of the sky. If you're gonna have his plane crash regardless, just fucking leave him in the plane. But that's a whole like another whatever thing. Also, the Dempsey family, just the worst security in the world. Both Dempsey's, just all the first Dempsey security or the secondary Dempsey guy, like his fucking security guy's beating the shit out of him all the time, calling him a pussy. This guy, the older Dempsey, just no security at all.
None whatsoever. Yeah, I took it kind of as he could take Dempsey and lock him up and keep him in this, like keep him in the re-education or just put him away. But he's like, let's just finish him off. It's better off than not even be here. So we, again, get confirmation. We assumed from the first episode that Serac had to do with Dempsey's death. He very much did because he literally kills him. So present day. We're caught up to present day. Serac is informed on a plane that there are anomalies happening. And he mentions his security team mentions these anomalies, and they're in multiple cities. He mentioned San Francisco, Los Angeles. That lines up with the characters that we know. You know, we know Dolores, Charlotte, all that. But he also mentions Berlin. We don't get an explainer on that. Keep that in mind. I got nothing else for the rest of the episode on that. But he mentions Berlin is an anomaly. And so that will be a mystery to us. So there is someone else there. Remember, there still is a missing pearl. There is still someone unaccounted for. Mentions the Yakuza planet, like the planet where the Yakuza were as well. So we're missing something. We just don't know who or what is in Berlin, but there was an anomaly there. So you got to figure that's the final pearl. It's kind of one of the biggest questions here. There is still clearly a major reveal that's going to take place.
And I mean, the hints for next episode are all Maeve in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, back in Nazi Germany. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know if that's probably not the Berlin, but
could be connected in some respect.
And that was Italy too.
Oh, right.
Oh, right. Well, the Nazi Association, I guess. But yeah, no, we do see Maeve and Man in Black are the big parts of the next episode, though it is kind of everyone. So I don't know. I don't know who that last pearl is, but there is an unaccounted for pearl, and there is an unaccounted for anomaly that we don't know what took place, where it took place, and what happened there. Mm-hmm. So that's going to come into play. But again, I don't know much more on that because that wasn't teased the rest of the episode. Though they do, at the end, not to skip too far ahead, at the end, they are boarding a plane. Maybe that's where they go. But also in the tease, it looks like they might be in Westworld. So I don't know. We'll probably figure that out. Westworld. Yeah, we'll figure that out pretty soon. That did not look like Germany on the horseback. It just did not. So we'll see. Dolores, Dempsey, and Caleb, they're on the run. Our guy Dempsey, he's got the shirt that says basic on. I love that. Like, it just makes him more like hateable. It's a fucking whiny, annoying rich guy. And he's the worst at running away. The absolute worst. He gets caught every time. Mm-hmm. He's not an athlete, but I mean, look, you got caught the first time. Think about a better game plan the second, or just don't run away because he gets caught within seconds. Anyway, yeah, Caleb blames Dempsey for the death of his friend, Kid Cudi, aka Francis, but I always call him Kid Cudi. Dempsey kind of, he says, like, he reacts, he's like, you think I killed your friend. You think I'm responsible. Like, you think I'm responsible for what happened to you in your life. And they kind of tussle a little bit, and Caleb says some things to him. And as he does that, Dempsey stabs him with the genre drug, which he got at that party. So now, basically, Caleb's going to trip different movie genres for the next, 30 minutes of the episode. And it gets pretty crazy. Again, Dempsey runs away. Dolores catches him in, 3 seconds. I mean, 2-3 seconds. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't even think they teased the idea that he could possibly get away.
No, they didn't even show it.
A little bit of stumbling, and then him being like, "Please let me go." Come on.
An off-screen capture. That's how slow he is.
Caleb's trip begins. The first one's black and white. That was kind of cool. So whenever you get the point of view of Caleb, you are getting the trip he has. The first one's black and white. Dolores like, look, help us. We need your help right now. They don't care about you. Either they. I think
it was Serac's people, or was it Dempsey's people?
Right. Excuse me, Serac's. But I guess it's the insight team and all that. Dempsey probably thinks they were gonna come after me. So Dempsey thinks that he doesn't need to help them. He'll be fine. His people will save him. Someone will save him. And Dolores is basically like, no, bullets in this rideshare car. You need to give us your information. That'll allow us to wipe us off the grid. They can't track us. And so after kind of going back and forth, he finally does give it up. Dempsey does give them access to the system, and they're able to kind of wipe themselves off the map. They won't be tracked. Trip number 2, you hear Ride of the Valkyries play, so it's like an intense action movie, war-type trip for Caleb. This was the car chase. Very cool scene of a car chase. Music was awesome.
I think I disagree with you.
You didn't like the car chase.
I think it was very underwhelming. I think the change of genres were underwhelming, and there was one part that made it like it basically ruined it. The very start of the car chase then ruined the rest of it because it was like I forget what exactly Dolores' quote was, but she was like full speed, full power, maximum power,
acceleration,
and there's like no peeling out. It looks like it just like kind of very slowly starts, and I actually thought they were doing it intentionally because the same thing happens when she activates her motorcycle later, where she's like, "Go," and you expect it to like take off and like shoot off like a rocket ship, and it almost feels like a Family Guy chase scene where they're actually moving really slowly, but there's intense music happening. I never thought that it was like whoa, this is a car chase.
Yeah, I think it's weird because like you have all this future tech, you expect everything to be more like high octane and everything, but it looked like every vehicle had a cap of like 60 miles per hour or something.
Yeah, and it might have been maybe it was the cars. They looked too smooth. They just ran basically like future cars.
They were going slow. I think the gunfights weren't particularly very cool. And it's the fucking grenade launcher thing that turns into a homing missile and comes back and blows up. Like that wasn't very cool. None of it seemed like over the top cool. Like I expected it to be based off the trailer, if that makes sense. And I just did not like the genre experience. I did not think the genre was a cool drug. First of all, like I don't understand the why would you want to take it? I don't get that part of it. And also I just think the experience, the POV of it for Caleb, I didn't find particularly interesting either.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I kept being like, all right, I guess like it didn't really.
It was definitely for an artsy effect. I will say that.
For something that was the title of the episode, it didn't really matter at all. It didn't do anything. It was just like a vehicle to kind of play some different music. It didn't really affect anything.
It definitely impacted him on the last trip, though, because that is what Marshawn Lynch, who does return, his character does tease the last trip is the most intense, and that's where we get a lot of flashbacks and a lot of teases for what we could expect with Caleb. But we'll get to that in a second. All right, so whether you think car chase cool or not, it did happen. I liked it a little bit. I get your points, though. I totally get your points.
I wasn't like, oh, this sucks. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I thought there was just something missing. You're
not in the minority because I saw on the Westworld Reddit, people were like, there's one thing Westworld's consistent with. It's underwhelming action. So
because that's the one scene they always showed in the trailer was that one car exploding with Caleb and like this over up on the sunroof. And I'm like, damn, that scene's going to be so cool. And it was very like,
So they shoot the rocket launcher. We also have another shot of the bike. Dolores summons the bike to blow up another car. So a lot of explosions. They get out of the car, and then there's another trip. It's like a romantic movie. I thought this was actually pretty funny, where Caleb's looking at Dolores in a very romantic way. And then we have Lena Waithe and Marshawn Lynch. They arrive. They kind of save the day because it looks like Caleb might get shot by one of Serac's people. So, again, returning of Marshawn Lynch, John. It's very pivotal now. Major.
Pivotal. And every single one of the things in his gift T-shirt were lit up. All of the words.
Yeah, he was
I noticed that.
Feeling it. Dempsey tells Dolores as they leave, because now, again, they're off the grid. They're going to go down to the subways. He says,
wait, before that,
can't be in two places at once.
We should just note that immediately Marshawn Lynch just looks at Caleb and says, I know you're on genre. Like, how did you possibly know? All he's doing is looking at Dolores. And he's like, I know what you're on. You're on genre. This drug that nobody knows about because the dickhead manager from fucking Star is Born said this is a highly experimental new drug that no one knows about.
Maybe just no one's horny in that universe. And he's like, oh shit, that guy's horny. Gotta be on genre.
You're looking at a woman, you must be on genre. This drug that, again, nobody has access to.
So they go down to the subway. Dempsey tells Dolores that she can't be in two places at once. Big wink, wink, nod, nod, because then we move on to Martin. Martin is with Bernard at the Insight facility. Remember, Martin did capture Bernard, take him kind of hostage. Bernard and Martin, they're kind of discussing the idea of two people. A lot of cool shots here of them side by side, some reflections, an overlook of the Rehoboam system. They're discussing, again, being of two minds, of two people. And Bernard wants to know, this is a pretty big one. We'll have a question about this in our audience questions. Bernard wants to know if Martin Dolores has ever questioned Dolores. Like, have you questioned what she is asking you to do, right? That what she wants you to do here, right? Bernard is always looking at both sides of the coin. He's like, this seems like you seem like you're very committed to this, but do you understand what she's telling you to do here? Because you're doing a pretty big thing, and it kind of makes me question too. Like, I guess they're all Dolores, but at the same time, like there's still something off about them. We're talking about two minds, two people, because it's that blending of the mind. Actually, I think there's a quote from Bernard that kind of discusses like the bleeding of the minds, where he says to Martin, says, living another person's life changes you. Worlds bleed. Maybe you felt that too. That's the exact quote. And he says, maybe, you don't want to die on her sword. So there's a lot of foreshadowing there of not all the Dolores may be on the same message as Dolores by the end of this show. Who it is, we don't know. We'll talk about that in questions. So basically, Dolores is now in the subway. There's another trip for Caleb. He's got like this. It's actually nightclubbing by Iggy Pop. That's his next trip. Yeah, late 1900s vibes. And Dolores wants to release all the information, all of Rehoboam's information, to everyone in the world. That's her goal right now, is let the people see the information that dictates their future. Dempsey's cornered. He has to explain to Marshawn Lynch and Lena Waithe like what their deal is. He's like, hey, he can see through his glasses. Like, oh, you make you're here for your brother. You make your brother look like a saint. That guy fucking sucks. Tells the same thing to Marshawn Lynch. So he's basically saying your futures are terrible, and I can see them. This is what happens. This is the world. And then him and Caleb again kind of go face to face, and Caleb's pretty pissed off. Caleb's still in his trip a bit, and he tells Dempsey, I'd rather live in chaos than a world controlled by you, because Dempsey's like, you can't release this information. There's no point. It will do nothing good. And he tells a story about rats, how when he was off to war, if they're trying to kill rats and if there's too much water, the rats would try to swim around and stay alive on top. And he's like, that's false hope. I kind of like that story. And that's when he again delivers the line, like, I'd rather live in chaos and deal with your fucking bullshit. That was kind of the final thing that Dolores needed to hear, really. She tells Martin, go ahead, let's go, let's do it. Martin says, these people have been riding the train. We want to show them the rails. That's what he tells to Bernard. And they release everything. And I'll tell you what, as they leave the subway system, people are reading all their information. This one woman finds out her daughter kills herself. Another guy finds out he dies soon. Someone else finds out they have early onset Alzheimer's soon. Everyone, I mean, the world stinks. Problems for everyone.
That was another part, like the chase, where I thought it could have been much better.
I agree. There could have been like a bigger oh shit moment.
It didn't hit with me because I didn't care about these people on the subway. Like, what do I care that this girl in 20 years killed herself? I don't even know who this girl is. What do I care? Even Lena Waithe, like, what the hell do I care about her brother? I wasn't emotionally invested in anybody who had a reveal there. And then even when they get out and not Jesse, Caleb is like, what genre is this? And Marshawn Lynch is like, this is reality, baby. I didn't think the chaos was enough. Like, the main shot of that, the world is in chaos, was an unleashed dog running by a bike.
Yeah, you had one guy getting beat up with rocks. Guy with like rocks, people like riding on top of cars. I would agree. Like, my only actual thing with this episode didn't hit for me was, despite the fact they are playing Space Oddity by David Bowie, when he says like, no, this is not a trip, this is reality.
Shout out, how do you pronounce his name? Duwaldi?
Ramin Djawadi, yeah.
Ramin Djawadi.
Whether you like genre or not, he fucking killed it with the music again, as he always does. Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right? Like, this should be the oh shit moment. And we still have, like you said, John, 5 episodes left, and like they just unplugged the Matrix basically. And like, I feel like stakes, like the reality of all that settling in, and the consequences of that is, like you said, a fucking dog running by on a leash and a motorcycle being on fire. Like, that's the biggest consequence.
Well, it's also tough too, because you're giving people all this information, and then you're having an immediate walk out into the world, which actually. Yeah, no, because, like, you're immediately walking out into the world. Like, you don't have a lot of time for, like, what am I thinking of? This is a crazy reference. Bruce Almighty. Remember Bruce Almighty when he goes outside the news studio and Buffalo's on fire? Like, the whole town is burning. Like, there's not enough time in between them leaving the train. So, like, there's this weird thing where if it was exploding and shit, I think very rightfully so, by the way, we'd be like, all right, the world blew up in 30 seconds? So, like, just the way the timing of the episode worked, it did. Again, for me, that was my only complaint with the episode. I get it, and it worked for me, but it didn't, like, have that oh shit moment or impact like the last episode with the Dolores reveal had.
Because this is changing the reality of the entire fucking planet, and, like, you need to have at least one consequence that's a little bit higher than what we saw. You know what I mean?
So as they walk out again, Space Oddity's playing. Marshawn Lynch is like, no, this is reality. It's not a trip. Caleb is nearly killed. People come out to kill Caleb. We'll probably find out eventually who that was. Dolores steps in the way and gets shot with the bullets.
Again, it felt like something was missing there too.
Yeah, I think that was kind of teased. I think we'll find that out. She's hiding something from him still.
The bullet went through her too, which is weird.
At that point, Caleb should have realized, because again, as far as we know, he still does not know that she is not a human being.
At that point, he should fully realize, oh shit, I've hitched my wagon to someone who is part of the system that I've hated.
Yeah, I can accept that though. Yeah, I think he's tripping balls up, but I also think that he
was just told he's not a genre anymore.
But I think he still doesn't know. He still doesn't get everything. Like, he's still very, I think, confused about things.
He watched someone get shot in the gut twice and keep walking. He should realize.
Yeah, but
this is the person.
I think he is questioning reality, though. I think he is.
But he might be questioning. There was definitely a moment where he's like, "What the hell is this?" But for someone who been made clear to us that he hates the system, he asked, "Are you human?" to fucking people on the phone. This woman he's been on a quest with, he realizes she's not a human. He should have a bigger reaction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, again, that whole scene was my one big that was my complaint with the episode. I thought all those things in that moment, they work for the story. Like, I'm not out of the story now. They just didn't have that moment where I kind of got chills. Like, oh shit! Like, this is, like you said, KenJac, unplugging the Matrix. Then we see back in Insight, Martin and Bernard are found by Stubbs. Stubbs kind of apprehends Martin. He's like, you're fucking coming with me here. Like, we caught you.
Stubbs also gets beat up again.
Stubbs, yeah. But keep in mind, he's still very injured. I'll defend Stubbs there. He's an injured guy.
Stubbs has never won a fight. He's like 0-50 in Westworld.
Well, he hurt his shoulder, and he got that shitty beer in Victorville, California.
They're really leaning into the hurt shoulder thing. It's like Stubbs is like just like very very clearly making it seem like, hey guys, remember.
Hey, you know what? I give credit for a show that's explaining shit like that for once. Like, whatever. So they have Martin. They're cornering Martin. They're asking him questions, asking about Dolores. Like, what the fuck is Dolores doing? What's her plan? What's going to happen here? And as that happens, Pom Klementoff's character walks in, the one she works for Serac. And Martin basically, little sign of sympathy here. This could tease to what we were saying. Like, who is the one that you imagine will break away from Dolores? And Martin kind of heard it from Bernard. He's like, look, are you going to follow her lead? Are you going to fall on her sword? He's like, go, you can get out of here. So they leave. Stubbs and Bernard flee. Martin is cornered again, and they're like, hey, Serac wants to talk to you. He brings him up to Dempsey's office, and he sets off a bomb. He blows up Dempsey's office. Serac was on video call. He's kind of surprised, like, what the fuck just happened? Are you shitting me? So Serac knows his world is in complete chaos right now. He's still up in the plane. Like, everything has gone wrong. And then finally we go to the beach in Los Angeles. This is the bridge where we know that Caleb eventually, in the simulation or in the way, the loop, it's referred to as a loop, again, like it was in Westworld, the real world loop, Caleb will kill himself on that bridge. He has another trip, which is the theme music from The Shining. Very ominous, very well done, and super fucking ominous. You know shit's about to go down. Like, some really bad shit's about to happen. Lena Waithe at one point shoots Dempsey because he's just running his mouth. I mean, just a guy, again, with no security, rich guy, running his mouth to people who don't like him. Well, I mean, what do you think's going to happen, Dempsey, at that point? Like, you just got to assume you're toast, right?
That's it, and I'm probably just looking into things too much now. Did she definitely shoot him?
Oh, she shot him. She definitely shot him.
There was no smoke in the gun, and her line where, because before that he had said, like, he sees how it's ending, and it made it seem like he was like, I know I'm going to die, and then she's like, I guess I did have a choice.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're looking. I might be wrong. I think you're looking too much into it. Yeah, I think she shot him.
I think he was just being a dickhead. He's a guy. He's like literally telling them, "I have no money. I have no worth at all. I'm literally useless. And also, by the way, you guys are all swine and cockroaches." So she just shot him.
It's basically like, it's like he thinks. Let me free. It basically saying murder me.
Do the work. He did like the worst Shark Tank pitch for himself, and then called everyone fucking cockroaches, and then got
shot. So Caleb, then, he doesn't really want Dempsey to die because Dempsey's saying things that Caleb can't quite figure out. Lena Waithe and Marshawn Lynch, they run away. Caleb starts to have a lot of flashbacks on this, like, the Shining trip, I guess. This is the really fucked up trip that Marshawn Lynch teased. We see hostages, people with bags on their heads. We see people sitting in chairs, tied to chairs, on looking. We saw a couple of those clips before when Caleb had his flashbacks with Kid Cudi. Liam tells Caleb he's the worst of them. So that's a big tease, the worst of them. You got to imagine that's the flies in the system that Serac refers to. We also see a flashback of Caleb in these, like, white robes, like this white outfit being tied down to a chair, probably getting re-educated. Like, you just have to assume that that's the re-education process, and Caleb was someone bad. He was sent off to war like we got teased with Serac. I don't think it's that. I don't think they're hiding it. Like, I think they're telling you, like, he was fucked up. What he did before, we'll tell you eventually, but he was re-educated. Again, he's in that same white outfit. We saw Man in Black in that white outfit. We get that in the tease. And then Caleb asks Dolores as Dempsey dies, like, who does he think I am? Because Dempsey tells Caleb, like, it was you. You were the problem. You killed him, basically. You did it. I think that's what he's implying. He's saying you did it, meaning you killed your friend. Because early in the episode, he was like, you think I did it. And so Caleb's like, who the fuck am I? Which makes sense. Like, his mom doesn't recognize him, right? He doesn't remember things. Things are very fuzzy to him. He's questioning reality. So it makes sense that he doesn't know who he is, that he was re-educated and reinvented as a person. And then they go and they try to board a plane. There's like a delivery from, I imagine, that app. They get this like weapon. And he's like, what's in this? And the guy's like, I'm a fucking messenger, man. It reminded me of the guy from, Christmas Story when he delivers the lamp and he's like, what's in this? He's like, I don't know. It's like, what's in it? I don't fucking know, man. I deliver the box. Leave me alone. Like, pay me. And then Serac shows up via hologram with Dolores and says he'd sacrificed more to protect his kind. He says they're flawed, but they can be changed. And Dolores, who at one point in the episode got all of Serac's files and saw all of his memories, said, oh, like you changed your brother, that's a pretty big dunk. That's like like, eat shit, bitch. Like, you don't try to lecture me. I know your history. And says it's time everyone woke up. Caleb, again, kind of questioning things. They board the plane, and he says he doesn't know who he is, all that. It says, I'm not like other people. And Dolores says, basically, I'm not like other people as well. And that's how the episode ends. They're boarding a plane going somewhere. My guess, Berlin, because, again, Berlin was teased. It wasn't just teased for no reason. We know there's another Pearl out there. Maybe Dolores is going to find another Pearl. I know a popular fan theory is still that the other Pearl's the horse. And we do see her on a horse. I don't know. I think that's kind of crazy.
That's
but
too much.
Yeah, that's a bit. You might lose me on the horse.
In the next episode, tease that she has the bag that they got delivered, and they're on horseback in Westworld. So I'm only assuming they're going to Westworld somehow. Maybe they go to Berlin and find a way to plug into their system.
Yeah, maybe they go there, then to Westworld.
Simulation or something.
Audience questions. Mike, I had the question. I kind of answered it. Was like, who's the person set to destroy the world? I imagine that's just Dolores. LD123 says, is Stubbs the other person on the inside for Serac? Is he Serac's other mole? Which is actually an interesting question, because remember, Serac does say to Charlotte, you think you were the only one on the inside that I had? You think you were the only person at Insight or in Delos, or excuse me, the only person at Delos who had inside knowledge or inside the system? So is it Stubbs, you think? Could be.
I think it has to be a human. I think it has to be, right?
Yeah, but Charlotte is not a human. Well, I guess.
He recruited human Charlotte,
right,
not
true.
host Charlotte.
But he also has Maeve. So if he's able to get Maeve, maybe he was able for him to get to Stubbs. I think the Stubbs angle is interesting, because who else would the inside person be?
It could be someone at Delos that's dead now. We really don't know. Maybe it's
Quite
Lutz.
possibly.
Maybe it's one of those guys. Like, you really have no idea. The possibilities there are endless.
Interesting question that it could be Stubbs. Stubbs might make sense. He's working with Bernard. Because there's still going to be
picking a losing horse.
There's still going to be a twist in the whole Bernard thing. User the saddest panda on the Westworld Reddit says, Caleb was edited from a terrible person, and he asked the question that we kind of talked about. Do you think he killed the Kid Cudi character, Francis? Do you think he killed his friend?
Yeah, I don't even think it's. I wouldn't even say it's being teased. I think that's been outright said at this point.
Yeah, definitely, just like straight up, they're saying this is what happened.
I wonder if it's an accident and they re-educated him, or you think he's a ruthless killer and they re-educated him?
Like a serial killer or something? Like, you think he's like a murderer? I don't.
Yeah, like, do you think they re-educated him because he's a bad dude, or because he accidentally killed someone and then it went crazy?
I think the reason they're showing that, like, that Guantanamo Bay interrogation scene with him and Cudi and the bald dude, maybe like Kid Cudi wants to kill that guy or something, even though he didn't do anything wrong, and like maybe Cal wants to let him go because he's like just a regular dude, and like maybe that's like where disagreement comes apart, and then he has to kill him. Like, I think maybe something like that happens, some sort of moral disagreement.
Quite possible.
I'm with you there.
And then at T497 says the parallel between Dolores season 1 and Caleb are fascinating, and I like that. Right. Dolores figuring out herself, finding consciousness, Caleb figuring out himself as well. I like that angle. That's kind of a good way to put it. And that seems rather deliberate, right?
Yeah, and it makes sense, too, with the very first awakening. That what made us think that maybe he's a robot when like he wakes up just like Dolores woke up in season 1.
Yeah, right. I forgot we even teased it. Yeah, he wakes up almost like basically the same exact way she wakes up. And then finally, at account Meher, I don't know how to say that. You got to use vowels, man. Calling it now, Charlotte Dolores is going to turn on the other Dolori.
I think the reverse.
So you think they're going to turn on Charlotte?
I think they're going to turn, or no, they're going to turn on, or rather, no, sorry, I misread the question. I think that all the Dolori are going to turn on the original Dolores because they think they kind of teased that with the Irish Dolores.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying.
They're merging into their own people that they're being told to be, and like they're going to eventually turn against her.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, it would make sense that one of them does because again, it's really heavily teased with Bernard. Like, you don't question this shit, Martin. Like, come on. Like, I know you're also Dolores, but you're bleeding into the person you are. Like, you don't question what she's making you do, the sacrifice you have to take. Again, falling on her sword. So one of them would
Especially
do
when other people start to hear that, like, he's had to blow himself up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah,
I
right.
don't know how they would get that knowledge or that message, but like, wait, we're just blowing ourselves up. Fuck this.
It would make sense that it's Charlotte. Think back to what she did. She protected her fake son, basically. It's not really her son. It's Dolores Charlotte's son. She killed the pedophile. Like, she's gaining a lot of empathy, a lot of sympathy for humans and for the character she is, the person she is. It makes sense that she would turn. She's like, this is ridiculous. Like, yeah, you think you're freeing these people? You're really not. You're causing major unrest. There's better ways to go about this and starting your revolution. So it would make sense that Charlotte Dolores is the one that turns on the other Dolori. What happens next? We got our tease. Maeve and Dolores, they have a bit of a showdown. It looks like that could be in Westworld. That's in some sort of facility. Maeve is also back in the World War II world and the Italian simulation. She's very much Magneto-like, by the way.
Again, yeah, she's very Magneto. But was that an episode 6 tease or was that season tease?
It might have been a season tease now that you say it.
It did say like up next episode of Westworld, like right? Okay. Isn't that what the tease says, right?
Yeah, it said like only 3 episodes left. I don't know where it comes in, but it was
5
John,
episodes left.
You'd mentioned very Magneto. No, 3 left.
No, that's our joke. Remember?
Oh, right. Duh. I already whiffed on the joke. It's been 40 minutes. I already forgot it. Charlotte looks at her kid, which is not really her kid. It's the actual Charlotte's kid, which again goes back to what we said. She has this emotion now with family that she probably wouldn't have had before because she's really Dolores. And you hear a voiceover of Dolores saying that she had to make difficult choices. Shots of them again at Westworld on horses. KenJac, you mentioned they have the weapon that was delivered at the end as well. We assume it's Westworld. Caleb being hunted by Serac. He's got a gun up to his head. We don't know if it's a flashback or present day. And then this is kind of the big one. William, Man in Black. He's getting the same treatment that Caleb was getting in flashbacks, and he is definitely getting re-educated. Or he's at a re-education center. We know Bernard is going to a re-education center. He's told to go there. So I don't know where that plays into. What are they trying to do with the Man in Black? But that's clearly going to be a next big step in this these upcoming episodes here.
He big time escaped too because you just see a bloody mess. He beat the shit out of some like orderly or something. He's the most like resilient, strong old man I've ever seen. This dude got shot like 1,000.
He's got like 6 fingers now. Yeah,
he's got 6 fingers. He got shot 100 times, and now he's been fucking like what do you call it? Like put in a mental hospital. And he's murdering all these orderlies. It's crazy.
It's still gonna get crazy. I think again for you, I think 2 things for you guys didn't land. One thing didn't land for me, but I did like the episode where the story goes. It's very interesting now because now it's super fucking chaotic. Everything before had been very like, I think like line by line, like things are going to be really easy and simple for how we make these reveals, even though the reveal was kind of complex. It was people within people, but now it's straight chaos. And now there's going to be things all over the map. Maeve, Bernard, Dolores, Williams, right? It's going to be nuts. I think the end here is going to be nuts, but I continue to be excited.
I think it's going to be great. I think I like, again, I like the episode. I thought there were a few parts where it was just like, I don't know if that's how it should have been done, but it's another thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. Let us know below who's going to turn on Dolores. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. Or maybe it's just going to be Bernard. Not that he has to turn, but maybe Bernard's going to be the one to take Dolores down. Not Serac, not Charlotte Dolores. Let us know some theories below. Make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe as well. You know when these drop every Monday. Only got 3 of these left, unfortunately. Then it's
remember our question when we first started this? Will we ever record this in studio?
That's not going to happen.
No.
We're never gonna. We'll never record this. This will never be recorded in studio. This will continue to be over Zoom. Yeah, that's an easy question.
Will be over Zoom too, probably.
Yes. All right, that's it. Again, let us know your theories below. Let us know your comments. We'll try to answer them. Any questions. For KenJac and John, I'm Jeff Lowe. We'll talk to you next Monday.